Today's vlog is going to look a little different, but I'm going to show you how I made over $20,170 in under 1 month. Hey everybody, my name is Justin Fricke, and if you're new around here, I'm a travel, adventure, lifestyle, and action sports photographer, videographer, and writer. And on top of all of that, I put out a brand new video every single day. So if you're interested in any of that, consider subscribing. I follow this guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. And if you don't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, he's a very successful businessman, he's an entrepreneur, he's a best-selling author, keynote speaker, and so much more. If you've never heard of him and you're interested in him already, I've got all of his links in the description below. But at the beginning of 2017, he issued this challenge to all of his followers. And basically what he said was that if you're willing to hustle, that there is no reason that you cannot make an additional $20,170 in 2017. Clever, right? So in order to do that, he says that all you would have to do is just find any miscellaneous items in your house and sell them online. And if you run out of things to sell in your house, or if you don't have anything that you think is valuable to sell in your house, you can just always go out to a thrift store, secondhand stores, maybe do some garage sales as well, and then buy something that is underpriced and then sell that and make a profit on it. When he issued that challenge, I was really excited and decided to accept that challenge, and in under 1 month, I sold over $20,170, completely beating his challenge. Now, I'll admit, I was definitely at an unfair advantage because I had a few big ticket items to sell. I had some camera lenses, a GoPro, and the biggest item of them all would be a Sprinter van that my brother and I converted into a camper van. But what I want to talk to you today is not necessarily the items that I was selling, but how I sold those items, and more specifically, the biggest ticket item that I did sell. The converted Sprinter van that I was selling is very expensive, and I was also selling to a very niche market. So I felt like I had to really pull out all the stops to get it sold. And I think these are some great tips for you to use if you plan to market or sell anything. Tip number 1 is to get it out there. Just posting items for sale in your area isn't good enough. I was posting my van for sale all over the country. And since I knew that there was a Sprinter van community out there, I was also posting to those forums as well. Now, the couple that actually bought my Sprinter van, they're from Wyoming. They were willing to fly down to Florida, buy the van from me, sight unseen, pick it up, and drive it back to Wyoming. And since I was able to get it out there and get it in front of them, it just goes to show that sometimes your buyer isn't necessarily gonna be in your own backyard. Tip number 2 is to post often. Social media, forums, and other sites are very crowded. And just because you post your item for sale doesn't mean that your buyer is gonna find it right away. In fact, it might take you 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 times of posting that item for sale before it even shows up in your buyer's feed. But be careful. If you're posting to sites like social media often, people don't want to see for sale ads all the time. So be sure to post some good, valuable content in between those ads as well. Tip number 3 is probably my favorite, and that is to get creative. Posting a long, drawn-out, written for sale ad isn't going to attract any attention. At the bare minimum, you should be including photos as well. But what I think is even better is if you can create a video. Now, what I did to help sell the Sprinter van is I actually created a Sprinter van tour, and here are some clips for you to see that. Allow me to introduce you to Jolene. She's a 2008 Dodge Sprinter van. Jolene, meet the vlog. I'm often asked how I cook in here. In the kitchen. And this is my bedroom, where all the magic happens. The magic of sleep, that is. And there you have it, a grand tour of Jolene, my adventure van. If you really like her, she's for sale. Now, if you don't have a video camera, or if you just plain do not feel comfortable editing video, you can always create stories on sites like Snapchat and Instagram, kind of like this. Good afternoon, Instagram. I can't believe it's taken me an entire year to do this, but I'm finally gonna do, for the first time ever, a little van life tour. Let's go for a ride. Now it's time to move to the living area, where we have 2 benches with storage underneath, an Enerplex solar generator, and a thermoelectric cooler. Imperative that you maximize space when living in a van, so the living area also doubles as the dining area, and you can get underneath to the garage too. You can even put it on Facebook Live as well. Thermoelectric cooler,
got to keep everything kind of going cold and have some cold products in there. I think we might still have beer in there. We still have beer in there. That's neat. Oh, it's still kind of cool too. Speaking about the garage, personally my favorite space, because that's where all the fun stuff is. So, for all of 2016, we carried around way too many shoes. We also had 2 crash pads, skateboards. We had surfboards in there. We're back in Florida, so we took the surfboards out because, you know, surfing.
And if you can, do all of that, because it helps you rank higher on all the different social media platforms and will help you get in front of more potential buyers as well. And tip number 4 is to follow up. Now, if you're using social media or Craigslist, what happens when someone reaches out to you? They're probably gonna ask if the item is still for sale and what condition the item is in. Then, no response. It's your job to be the driving force behind the sale, but without being too pushy. So if there's been radio silence for about like 24, maybe 48 hours, don't be afraid to follow up. Send them a quick message saying, hey, wanted to follow up with the conversation that we had the other day and see if you had any other questions that I could answer. Send, and then boom, you're right back in front of them and hopefully closing the sale. I hope you found this vlog helpful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Now, if you've been around the vlog for a little while, you know that this video is a little out of the ordinary. So leave me a comment below letting me know whether you do like it or don't like this business marketing sales style of video. And the vlogs that you are accustomed to are gonna be back tomorrow. I'll see you then.